Alright, so this $300 crapbox Corolla needs a new catalytic converter. I'm going cheap, so a universal catalytic converter is the obvious choice. I quickly measured the converter on my car, noting the length, the diameter of the converter itself, and the exhaust tubing size. 5 inches in diameter, and the tube is a little bit under 2 inches. It's probably metric. So I know what you're thinking. Why replace the cat when you can do tube? Well, cats are cheap here in Washington, and this is a daily, so anyways. This EPA legal converter that I ordered is a tad bigger than the original, but it should work. Some states allow you to buy converters, others don't, so check your local laws. I removed this chassis brace to open up some room. This post-converter O2 sensor is fairly new, so it came out without any issue. Old O2 sensors are going to be frozen in there. I recommend spraying it with penetrating oil for at least a week before you even attempt removing it. This flange clamp is removed. I disconnected the muffler mount. Then these rubber exhaust hangers are then wiggled off. With those removed, the exhaust will just drop to the ground. Alright, so chop time. A death wheel works for this, but so does my metal chop saw. Some cars have post-cat O2 sensors connected to the converter itself, so if that's the case for you, don't chop the sensor hole off. I need this flange to weld up to the new converter, so I cut it off the old one. These two converters are about the same size, so it should fit in my car without any issue. I used a belt sander to clean up the flange, and then a flapper wheel to clean up the rest of the exhaust. So I did a check to make sure that the exhaust would fit where I wanted it. Looks like it does. I only have a TIG welder, so it's kind of putting like lipstick on a pig. Most people will use a MIG welder, but I don't own one. I did a few quick tacks and then test fit this up before the final welding. Also note that most converters do not have a flow direction, only pay attention to where the O2 sensor is. I kept the flange loose, and that will be welded last. The catback exhaust is welded up. And now another test fit. This flange made it very convenient to line this up because I could push it out left, right, up and down just a little bit. I made a few marks so I could remove it from the car and line it up roughly where it was. I then welded the flange to the new converter. The exhaust is then bolted back up to the car. The rubber mounts are squeezed back on. A gasket and 2 bolts connects the muffler to the exhaust pipe. The front flange is clamped back together. A little anti-seize on the O2 sensor, and it threads right back in. This chassis support bar is bolted back up. Oh yeah, sounds like a crap box. So the MPG of this little Corolla has increased pretty significantly. It's very obvious that this 306,000 mile converter wasn't working too well. Not bad for a few hours and a $45 converter. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed something a little bit more off topic. You might be seeing more videos from me that pertain to other cars besides F-bodies. If you're interested in more content, you can follow me on Instagram or support me on Patreon if you really like my content. I'll see y'all later.